What's up everybody, Rebel here, and for today's episode, Crash Bandicoot 4 is the best Crash Bandicoot game that I have ever played. But every game, even the great games, do have their flaws, and Crash Bandicoot 4 does have a few flaws I would like to discuss, including one flaw that I don't really hear too many people talking about that I really do feel like hinders the game. So let's get into it.
Darn you, Crash Bandicoot!
Alright, so there's one flaw with Crash Bandicoot 4 that I just want to get off of my chest. And no, it's not the stereotypical complaint of Polar is really hard to control, or half of the inverted themes are just filler, or the timeline levels are kind of repetitive, or if you combine the last two and you have to 100% the same part of the level 4 times to get all of the gems. The fact that in the last couple of levels you have to get all of the gems to get the skins. The fact that at the last couple of levels the flashback tape is at the very end of the level. Where was I going with this? Yes, those are all flaws that are all rightful criticisms of the game, things that do hold it back from being the best game that it possibly can be. But that's not really what I want to talk about today. What I want to talk about today, the big flaw with Crash Bandicoot 4, is its streamlined story. Now, yes, I can argue you Crash games aren't necessarily known for their story. Yes, but here's the thing, they wouldn't have had to written anything extra or anything new, maybe dialogue or something like that, but the story apparently is already there. Now, I do want to clarify and say that the story in the game is fine. It's a great story. I think it's a great Crash Bandicoot story, and I'm completely fine with it. When I say the story is more streamlined, what I'm essentially getting at is that there are very, what I would assume to be crucial details that are just completely left out of the game. And it isn't things that, you know, stop it from making sense if you're lucky enough to not stop to think about it. If you do stop to think about it, you will realize that certain things just don't tend to make sense. For example, in the pirate dimension, the very first stage starts with you on a dock and you end up in a vault inside of a cave. So Crash and Coco are tied up outside and Tawna's there, but they were just in a vault in a pirate cave. Did they get captured in the vault? Is the Tawna stage actually supposed to take place before the first pirate stage? How do they go from being inside and then Tawna sets them free and now they're inside of the pirate's lair for the last stage? It really doesn't fit when you stop to think about it. Now you go from New Orleans to just right into the bayou. There isn't really any segue leading you there. You're just kind of there now. Entropy's fight, and you have Tawna there who appears to already be fighting them, and then you have Dingodile and Cortex there after the fight acting like they did something, and the fight is pretty melodramatic. Was there more there? Is there story that's kind of being left out? Is there a slight bit of narrative being left out? When you find the masks, like you find Ika Ika in a dinosaur egg inside of a little cave in the dinosaur levels, and I guess you just end the level and it's like, hey, here's Ika Ika in an egg, just here, hanging out. You know, you're jetboarding and then you get off the jetboard and here's Kapunawa, she's just here, hanging out. I feel like they could explain what is going on just a little bit more. The game needs, this is so weird to say this, the game needs exposition. It is in dire need of exposition, and I don't know if that would come in the form of added dialogue. Just added dialogue, the characters, just blatant exposition, explaining to us what's going on while talking to each other. Maybe a narrator to just kind of explain to us what's connecting the levels, what happened right there between it. Because I feel like there are some loose ends, and it's not that this information isn't there. If you look through the art book, when they talk about like food run, that Crash and Coco are trying to get to Dingo's Diner and they're running between cars and drive-through lanes to get there, and I didn't know they were trying to get to Dingo's Diner. I mean, you see it in the background, but you don't know that that's the goal for Crash and Coco to get to, and I just feel like, God, it's so weird to complain about there being a lack of exposition. Normally you complain about too much exposition. You're not supposed to complain about a lack of exposition, but this game is in dire need of some exposition. I mean, hell, they could even just have a little paragraph while the level's loading. That would be it. Just a little paragraph kind of explaining what they do in the art book. It's stuff that the developers had already thought of. It's there. Just let us know. Why aren't they letting us know what's going on? I mean, I guess there's, you know, between the lines context clues that you could sit there and be like, you know, theorizing, Crash and Coco must be trying to get to Dingo's Diner because it's in the background, and where, you know, it's a food planet, there's food places everywhere, so why would they be trying to go to any other food place except Dingo's Diner? It's why is it like this? I really do feel like it hinders the game from being a little bit better. I know Crash games aren't known for their story, but they didn't have to try to stay true to that. They could have expanded the story a little bit better, made the story a little bit better, a little more comprehensible. I'm not saying the story's bad. I'm just saying that there are crucial bits of information. They're not even crucial. They're just little tidbits of information that would be nice to know. That would be nice to know what's going on. With the pirate thing, how do Crash and Coco go from on a pier? Are they on a pier, on a dock with some pirate ships, and they go into a cave, and then they go where the treasure is, and boom, they're in a vault. And then Tana's like swinging from pirate ships, and it's like, hey, look, there are Crash and Coco tied up on a pirate ship in the middle of the ocean, not in a vault. How? I'm so confused by that. And then after that, after she cuts him down, it's like now they're back inside the pirate's lair. Makes me think the Tana stage should have came first, but I guess because there was the story was so bereft of details that it didn't really matter what level comes first, because, you know, they were just like, well, it's incomprehensible anyway, so who really cares what level comes first? And I don't like that. And that's what I would consider Crash Bandicoot 4's biggest flaw, because let's face it, you don't have to 100% a game. You don't have to get 106% in a game. You know, that's just personal preference to try to get 100% or 106%. And if you think that, you know, 106% or trying to 100% the game in general, that difficulty hinders the game, you know, I guess. But at the same time, you know, I think the gameplay of this game more than makes up for any of that stuff. I will say, however, all of the previous flaws I mentioned at the beginning of the video, they don't really lead to my next complaint, or they may have culminated in my next complaint. However, I kind of don't think so. In the next complaint, just secondary complaint here, is I kind of felt like quitting the game halfway through, more than halfway through. I was towards the end of the game, and I just kind of felt like quitting. I just kind of had a deep lull in enjoyment, and I just didn't know what to do, and I was like, you know, maybe I just turn it off and might come back to it in a day or two, maybe, who knows. But I shouldn't want to feel like that about a game. It kind of hurts me to say that I felt like this. Oh, you're not a true Crash player. I don't know. I beat it. I did it. I didn't quit. So I mean, there's that. But I kind of felt like it. And the story behind that is I got to Bermuda's orbit, and the checkpoints were just so infrequent, and getting every box, even on the main path, it just ended up being such a chore. And then having to do those difficult platforming tricks to get all the boxes, to get onto the next part, to die, and go back to the checkpoint where you have to do the first very hard platforming part over again. It just gets very, very tiresome. After Out to Launch, there is shipping error, and shipping error starts with Cortex, and I do not like Cortex very much at all, and I really don't like him in that level, so that level was just a huge drain on me. And then you get to, I guess, stowing away wasn't actually too bad, although the bonus stage there did have me ripping my hair out for a little bit. And then you get to Crash Landed, and I was trying to get the last box as you're like going over the platforms, and you know, the one hidden box, you know what it's on the screen right now. I kept trying to get that, and there's no checkpoint right before that, so you just go back to the start of the level. You have to do the sliding around on the goop, and then go through the cave, and then do the jumping part, and then not get the box, and you should be short of the jump, and then die, and have to do it all over again. And it's you get to points to where you're doing the same 45-second part over and over and over, and dying like 30-40 times, and it drains, man. And then you end up getting all those boxes, and You get the checkpoint, you're like, what is that? Is that an animal I have to ride? And yeah, so then you're like, God, I don't want to do this. I don't want to. So you're just not even bothering to get the boxes, and then you're just running back. You're running past the rest of the level with all of the platforming challenges for all the boxes. Like, I've already missed all the boxes. What's the point of me even trying in this stage anymore? And then you skip the bonus stage, and you don't even enjoy the level. And then I googled how many levels were left after Crash Landed, and there's 7 levels after that. And I was like, you got to be kidding me. I thought I almost beat the game. And it was just like, okay. But luckily the snacks dimension is not as bad as Bermugala's Orbit. The levels are very, very long though, a little bit longer, which is draining in its own way. Thankfully, Cortex Island was not too bad, and I reached that lull went up the multicolored gem path. I tried it a couple times and was like, yeah, that's incredibly hard. And then I skipped it, and it didn't wear on me at all. So, you know, that how do you avoid doing that? How do you avoid making people feel like they want to stop playing the game halfway through? There's only been a handful of games that I've ever stopped playing without beating, and the first one was BioShock, but that's because I was playing like 3 other games at the time and I couldn't mentally keep up with all of that. The second game I stopped playing was Bloodborne. I am not making a Crash's Dark Souls reference. My heart could not take the anxiety that game gave me, the constantly. Oh my god, it is such a drain physically. I could not beat Bloodborne. I quit playing Skyrim about 20 hours in, but that game just overwhelmed me with so much stuff to do. I became a vampire, and I don't even know how I became a vampire, and I just got so confused. There was so much going on. I had no idea what I was doing. I ended up starting the game over again, and I love that game. That game was so much fun. Didn't beat Red Dead Redemption 2. I got about 5-10 hours into it and just stopped playing it. Wasn't feeling it. And I think that speaks to a game when someone just stops playing, especially someone who loves the franchise. Maybe they didn't stop playing, but maybe they came close to. What does that speak about the game, and how do you avoid that? And once again, this is not complaining about 100% or 106% difficulty. I knew I wasn't gonna get 100% difficulty when I beat Bears Repeating. Instead, gave up. It had nothing to do with me being like, well, I'm not gonna 100% the game. Man, I already knew that. 106%? Yeah, I knew that way. As soon as I figured out the insanely perfect relics and that you needed one in every level, I was like, yeah, no way am I getting 106% in this. That's literally impossible for me. 100%, I was just like, I have a feeling I'm not going to be doing that. And, you know, oh well, I'm going to miss out on a couple of gems. They spiked up the difficulty. Oh well. That was never enough in and of itself to make me want to stop playing the game. So I don't know what made me want to stop playing. It was just a culmination of everything. Infrequent checkpoints. Bermugala's Orbit is just kind of a challenging section of levels by itself. And yeah, that's gonna wrap this one up. So I guess if you made it this far, listen to me ranting about this game I love, but things about the game I tend to not love. I hope you enjoyed. Smash the like button if you agree a little bit. I mean, maybe you didn't think about the story too much, and now you're kind of like, yeah, you're kind of right about that. It's nothing game breaking, or it's nothing that hinders it from being amazing, but it is something that I do wish they added for us, the players. It would have been nice. Now I think about it, and I'm just constantly scratching my head like, this doesn't make any sense. And also, I apologize for being a Crash YouTuber and saying that I almost quit playing the game. I probably wouldn't have. I would have just came back after, you know, my anger went down a little bit, but still, the fact that I got that feeling is not the best. It's not great. And besides that, that's gonna wrap this one up. Thanks a bunch for watching. Hope you enjoyed. Smash that like button if you enjoyed. Make sure you subscribe for more Crash Bandicoot videos and other similar style videos, platformers, collectathons, all that good stuff. I'm actually in the process of replaying. I don't have the box for it, so I'll have some retrospectives on that, as well as possibly some level rankings. All the levels are amazing, so ranking them is going to be incredibly hard. But make sure you subscribe, hit the notification bell for all that other good stuff, and until next time, peace.